And one of the first things I often say is that games can often lower the barrier of entry. Some of the games that we've produced, for example, around the federal budget, our latest game is called Fiscal Ship, which you can play at fiscalship.org. We've had about 3 million people worldwide play our various budget games and engage with the topic of the federal budget policy, which is normally something that not that many people would want to engage with on their off time. And we take very much pride in trying to make those sort of policy discourse concepts accessible and motivate people to engage with them. And that's one of the reasons why we really gravitate towards games, is that motivation.
We need to think beyond, that's my first point, the nice aspects which we all love, communication, intercultural exchange. And when you play esport, it's a team can have a physically disabled member from Johannesburg and an LGBTIQ member from Singapore and one migrant from Berlin. That's all true, but there's also the security policy aspects. China is collecting data via the games that people play. Tencent is strategically buying into gaming studios. We saw that. We can only urge governmental and non-governmental actors of foreign policy to come up with the capacity to monitor what is happening in the gaming world, so that we at some point reach the same level cinema has reached, book publishing has reached, because even somehow needs to know which game is sending which understanding of war, to stay with that example.
So obviously, war games is kind of a natural habitat for us to be interested in, from all that I've explained about our focus on warfare and the consequences of it. Often video games, we see in them all the things that we don't really want to see on the battlefield, right? Impunity, indiscriminate killing, there's no limits, the ends justify the means. So like there a risk for us that war crimes can be in some way normalized, and the gamification of killing from a distance is something that we see in the real world, a manifestation of that through the use of drones in warfare, for example. So there is a risk there for us. It's the interactivity and the repetition that is important to us, because players make choices, right? It's not just passively sitting in front of a film. It's a choice that you're making. And that is an educational and learning opportunity. And essentially our premise is that just like on a real battlefield, games should include virtual consequences for people's actions and decisions, and that there should be rewards and punishments baked into that.